Hello, y'all. So this is Brooklyn. You know what? I'm just gonna leave that. This is Brooklyn with an I, and this is Let's Talk Raw. I'm not. Hey, this is Let's Talk Raw with Brooklyn. So basically, I'm Brooklyn with an I. That's not basic. That's basic. Pretty basic. So really, I'm just gonna do a little makeup tutorial while I talk to you guys. So this is sort of my countdown of I'm gonna go back home to Atlanta. I've been here for about 2 months, and it's just really hard to be away from my children. And I've had some health issues, some major ones. I was actually in the emergency room yesterday and terrible bouts of pain, probably the worst pain I've ever felt. So I'm having some serious medical stuff happening that I've just got to. There's just a lot of things that have been put into perspective lately. The fire, my health, having to have an ambulance come get me yesterday because I was in so much pain, and the pain comes on so quickly and so severely. Just interesting that where a huge part of my, I'm just putting on my L'Oreal green for a couple of red marks while we talk. And then I'll put concealer over that and just sort of rub it in together. I'm quite blotchy lately. I think it's the sickness and all that. Then I've got a pink pen by L'Oreal that I use for brightness. I love these pens. They have them in orange, green, yellow, purple, pink. I love them. And for my undertones, which are a bit of blue and yellow mixed together a little bit, very combination, I like to brighten around the eyes with the pink, and probably a little bit here, right? And under my eyebrows, brighten that a little bit. Do a little above a little bit. And it's just like a crayon, you just kind of place it on. And then I get my concealer with my concealer brush. That was L'Oreal, and I also use Bye Bye Cosmetics. These are my favorite. They're by It Cosmetics, excuse me. And this is the Bye Bye Concealing Pot with a bit of illumination infused with collagen, which y'all know is my favorite. So back to what else is happening. I have been away for a good 10 to 14 days from you guys until yesterday, I believe, because I was feeling so incredibly sick. And really it all came to, wrong one. It all came to well, it doesn't matter. It all came to a head yesterday where I actually had to call an ambulance. And Morel, my friend, was here with me. And I had no choice. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk. I kept fainting and falling, and I was in such, just concealing all the areas. I was just in such excruciating pain. And I hate hospitals, which is why I sat here for 10 days. And it was interesting because I had just done a video for you guys, and I was not feeling well during the video, actually, but I just kind of chalked it up to being tired. Well, that fire really put perspective into everything. And so I'd already made my decision to go home. It's almost like God just like made all this stuff shift and happen all at once. So now I'm going to be using my Tarte Amazon powder to bake certain places, baking. And I use the other side, which is my buffing brush of my It Cosmetics concealer brush. It's a double-ended brush. And I just sort of pat. And I'm going to come back in with my, makeup little spongy guy. I have both sizes. I love this, the bigger size with the flat end. And I also love the corner end, as you can see, of my smaller one. You can get those. I got mine off at the dollar store because they had a little stand to go with it, so I was super stoked. So I just take the powder and I let that sort of sit for a bit while I sort of let the rest, cover in the rest of my face, which again brings me back to this guy. Okay, so I am going to use my It Cosmetics full coverage moisturizer as well as foundation. I just do a little drip, I don't do too much on my forehead. I just do a little concealer when there's a couple of red spots, pimples, or my hyperpigmentation, a little too much sun, things of that nature. Now it comes with a brush, that I will use. And I just start to pat because I've got all these colors, right? I've got the green, the pink. So you want those to lay where they're supposed to lay, right? So you pat them in. And like I said, I don't use very much on my forehead. I feel like it can make you look older, creasier. So then I go here and I pat. I'm going to come back with that flat side of that sponge. And now with circular motions, I'm going to kind of let it set in and just make sure it blend, blend, blend is the name of the game. So, as I was saying, with the fires and everything, and I'd already been talking to Cal and the girls and just knowing, like, this is crazy. Like, I'm doing school. I can switch to an online program. I've got really opportunity with insurance to help with my health issues. There's just, I just came out here, and with my dad not being at his office right down the street, there's just this lack of ambition I'm feeling, and I think part of that is just the, sorry, I've got this little goober's eye. I think part of that is just being, what a difference makeup makes, right? I was like totally red and splotchy, and now I'm starting to have a nice little color with a little glisten. I tend to like the dewy look, and not for my own spit. So I'm just gonna pat in areas, you know, and you can be the judge of what side of what sponge or what side of what brush. I mean, it's pretty obvious, you know, you use the flat end for bigger areas, you know, and then you use the cone end, as I call it, for more preciseness. I love these sponges because they don't ingest all the makeup. They help kind of keep it both even, not taking too much from you. Now, I do see a couple of spots that I'm going to have to, you know, actually, I will do a little bit of setting around these areas where I get a little more red, but I don't want to take away from the dewiness I like, which is why I like clay powder, because it does have a nice little shine to it without, but at the same time, the clay in it, uh-oh. Lost focus. What in the world? Hold on. I am so sorry about that. That is so amateur and annoying. So when I get back to Atlanta, I will have my studio set up again with, you know, to keep it more simple. I still have my little corner in my house. So, but this has been an amazing opportunity for me to, I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows. I ran out of my unique eyebrow pen, and this is like really hurting right now, but it's too small for the sharpener to get to it. So I have to really, so what I do is I have the gel. I also have my BoxyCharm box that's sitting in my mailbox, but I have to get a new mailbox key. So, or listen for the mailbox guide tomorrow afternoon, which I plan on doing, because I do not want to spend $150 when I'm leaving in 3 weeks. Like, you know. So anyway, my plan for the next 2.5, 3 weeks, besides packing again and heading back that way, is to do some really fun little skits and kind of, I can't tell you what, but they all just started coming to me like quickly. There's things, you know, as a native and then as a tourist you might want to do. So I'm going to kind of incorporate both. And just sort of have fun before I go, because this was a chance for me to figure out where I needed to really be and what I really needed to do. Now, a lot of people are like, geez, Manetti's, you're 37. Shouldn't you have known? Well, one, I was a drug addict for many years, and it stunted my growth, and it stunted those learning years everybody else has in their 20s. I was either being a mom or, so I'm going to take I'm actually going to take the smaller one, excuse me, my smaller sponge, and I'm going to just get the side of my nose so I can get that Charlize Theron, right? I'm going to come back in there too with some more concealer to do the tip of my nose. And then I'm going to use this brush, which comes with the IT bronzer that I used. I love this full coverage, also SPF 50, which I love. And I literally just pat it along. I mean, I just pat it in the areas you're supposed to. And I'm going to come later with a brush foundation as well. This just kind of gives that dewy look that I love, without overpowering, you know. So I'll have to come back in with some concealer and make certain areas a little more, just to keep the shape, you know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is grab that sorry, I'm so sorry. Did I shave? Yes. I'm going to grab this with my concealer pot yet again. Here it is. This is my Bye Bye Concealer pot by IT Cosmetics. I get it off what is it, HSN or whatever. And I'm just gonna kind of highlight some areas that seem to not have stayed as well, okay? And then I'm going to put the top back on this guy. Actually, I'm gonna wipe it off a bit. Put the top back on. I'm actually going to use let's go with the flat side of this. And also another great way to do it is add some setting spray to it. That really helps keep the dewy look too. And if you're gonna do the if you're gonna do the setting spray, you can use my Tarte Amazon powder. And so you're gonna do that so you can kind of bake as you go, but yet it still keeps the dewy look because the setting powder keeps it kind of wet. And we just have this and eyes to do, and we're almost done. I'm like trying to hurry before somebody walks through the door. So I feel like I heard the big door slam, so I'm trying to see if he can hear me say that. Not quite walk in. Also, don't forget your ears and stuff, but I usually do that with a light brush of the powder at the end on certain areas, or my bronzer, whichever I'm trying to take over with, which would be a full coverage or more of a sun-kissed look. And I tend to go for more of a sun-kissed look. Don't you love this stand from the $99 store? Look, isn't that adorbs? Okay, so we're almost done, so we're going to do the bronzer. Now, I love this bronzer brush. It is from Unique, and so is the bronzer. This is Hermosa. I love how it has that tilted edge. It really helps guide you in the way you need your bronzer to go. Never try to go past here. For some reason, it just looks like you have too much on, and so when you smile, it cakes into that. You see what I'm saying? So you want to always go above the smile bunch, as I call it. Now, up top, I always really kind of put some bronzer there, because if you were to walk around, that's where the sun would hit. So then you just sort of, and then I'm going to go down my neck, because I'm obviously more pale there. After I put on makeup, I'm going to do my ears. Today I'm going for a pretty natural look, so I'm just going to curl my eyelashes. And I'm so OCD, I like to put things away as I go, and I know you guys are like watching, so I'm like, I'm sorry. I got this cool thing from the 99-cent store. Can you see it? It holds all my brushes in it. It's this blue, can you see it? It's this blue thing right here. I do love it. The only, excuse me y'all, the only thing is that it's kind of hard to get this stuff out. So okay, an eyelash curler is a girl's best friend. You know what, I am going to do a tad bit of powder on my eyes, just a tad, and that's going to be this really, Jesus, well, that made a mess. I don't even want to tell you what just happened, because that totally like messed with my stress level. Anywho, sorry about that. Okay, so this is like a mauve kind of brown. It is from a kit that I get sent to me from Amazon. It's like a gift, but I will say it was completely messy when I got it, so I had to revive whatever I could get out of it. It was huge too, a huge kit of makeup, and I could only revive the eyeshadows, and what I did was sprayed alcohol in them and patted them with a piece of tape. Alcohol and tape and patted to get all the bronzer that had leaked all over it. And honestly, all I could say was the eyes, I was too afraid to use the skin powders because I didn't know what pigments had sort of run together sort of thing. So this touched the floor, so I sprayed some alcohol. In fact, this as well. Okay. So anyway, I'm doing this mauve brown, which is just gonna, and then with the same brush, because it's not super dark, I'm gonna do more of a kind of a white lighter to go under my brow line, which just wakes you up and sort of blends the colors together, so it's like very natural looking, no major creases, but it just sort of brightens your eye. And I like to do the same color And as the mauve that I first used, I like to do it underneath. Okay. So we do it underneath, and it just sort of lines and gives you a little more, just a little more put together, I think. Like that side didn't do quite as well. I'm so worried you guys are gonna fall over again. A little feisty today, that thing. Okay. So now I'm gonna do them. I hear the keys. I hear keys, not yet. Nope, wait 1 second. Sorry, I'm almost done. See, I told you I was gonna hear those keys. Okay. So I'm just gonna do our mascara and I'm gonna head out because it's a really small apartment, and when he turns that key, it's like, bam, he's right there. No other option. Okay, so I got this in the mail from It Cosmetics as a gift. It's called Superhero Mascara. I'm so stoked about it. And they really are awesome when you work for them by they sending you little gifts to go with whatever you know kind of chose for that month to talk about. And so what I love about this mascara is that it's not only elongating, it's thickening, and you can put as many coats as you want on. I don't put more than 3 usually, but there is no clumping whatsoever. So that's it. Superhero Mascara. It's their newest one. You can go to HSN to get it. And I will also have a link below of where you can get it on Amazon. Oop, and as usual, I get a little bit myself. But anyway, so I'm just letting y'all know this next 2.5 weeks, I'm going to try and do some funny little skits around Los Angeles and little things that I would do if I was a tourist and not a native. But since I'm going to be leaving, I'm going to kind of act like I'm a tourist right now and do all the fun stuff. Okay, thanks for joining me in this Let's Talk Raw. And I'm going to go and let this dude in that's standing outside. And I'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh my gosh, y'all, I almost forgot. Setting spray. I'm using Dewy Finish by NYX. I love it. And then I do a little spritz of matte too, just to really keep it there. And then one more of Dewy. I know, I love setting spray. Okay, so since you can see some of me. Okay, those are both by NYC, and I will put a link below. See you guys later. Thanks for joining me. This Let's Talk Raw. Subscribe, do all that stuff. Tap that bell, whatever you want. Let me slow that down. Subscribe. I'd appreciate your vibe. Come on in. Let's take a ride. Bye. This is Brooklyn with an I.